Free book cover design for self-publishing. Hello and welcome to the video. My name is Brian Jackson. I'm the writer of a handful of books, the publisher of well over 100 books, most written by my wife, Melanie Jackson, and the instructor of 35 Udemy online video training courses. Rather than using PowerPoint slides to introduce this video lesson, I thought I'd talk over a display of some of my favorite book covers, just so you get the idea. In this video, I plan to discuss why your book cover is so important, book cover creation fundamentals, create a free book cover using Canva, and the details of book cover creation using Canva. So if you're ready, we'll just wait for this presentation to end. Then I'll pick up with why your book cover is so important. In this section, we're going to discuss first impressions, or why your book cover is so important in the first place. Now consider this, the purpose of your book cover. Why are you creating one? To turn a browser into a reader. You want people that are browsing for a good read to read your book, or at least to read the book description. So if you get them to read the book description, then maybe they'll read the first sentence. If they read the first sentence, they'll read the first page, on and on until they buy your book. So your book cover is the crucial first step in your sales pitch. Now, how does it accomplish this purpose? First, by catching the eye. You want an eye-catching cover, and you can do this through colors, through images, through text. There are several mechanisms that you can use to catch the eye, and you have just a brief moment to convey maybe one or two intriguing pieces of information, right? Maybe the title or the author, something intriguing, something to grab the reader. And you're going to be representing your brand. Now, a brand can either be a series of books, and you can do it through the names or through common pictures or fonts or colors. It can be your author name. Whatever your brand is, your book cover needs to express that as well. It also needs to express genre expectations. So if you're writing a cozy mystery book, you better not have anything gruesome as far as a murder scene on the cover. If you're writing a romance book, naked guys' chests seem to be the most popular. And copying what's popular, I really encourage you to go out and take a look at your genre, see what your competitors are doing, and mimic it. Not exactly copy the cover, but mimic it. Use the same elements. So that's how a book cover attracts attention. Now, we talked about brands, and I want to talk about what is branding. Branding can be a consistent look across a series of books. In fact, here I'm showing you a series of books that are my wife's Chloe Boston Mystery Series. And you can see that I've got a common look and feel to all the book covers so that you can tell one book in the series from another. Another thing that you might be consistent about is all of an author's books. So you might always use the same font for the author's name. You might use images that are common across an author or a series. You might use colors or fonts. All of these things you have to bind and make consistent either a series of books or all books by an author. And notice also your name and the titles that you use, the words that you use in series and so on, can be a binding factor. For instance, if you're writing Donut Shop Cozy Mysteries, you might have the sweet death or something like that. You'll have all kinds of sweet kind of things in your title and so on as part of your brand for that series. Here's another brand to a series that's less tight, but you can see that I use the same kind of lettering for each, and they all have to do with walls, and there's some piece of art on the wall typically. So that's what unites the Miss Henry brand, a series written by my wife. Now, what about cover sources. Where can you get book covers? First of all, don't use the Amazon built-in book creator. It creates recognizable covers. Anybody that's in the industry recognizes a book cover that was created with that, and they look just kind of tacky. You can pay someone $50 to $100 to create a book cover for you, or what I'm recommending is that you do it yourself for free and get exactly what you want, a professional-looking book cover for free. That's what this video is all about. Now, why create your own book cover? Because it's free, it's easy, it's fast, and it's fun. Why would you give away the fun of creating your book cover to somebody else and then pay them? Now, let's look at book cover fundamentals. We now understand why the book cover is so important, and hopefully you agree to at least look into creating your own. Now we're going to look at what you need to consider when building your book cover. First of all, the book cover elements are this: images, text, and colored boxes. That's what you got to work with. So it's not going to be that complicated. Let's look at images first. So when you pull an image onto a book cover, you have two options. You can do a full cover image, as in this example where the image covers the entire book cover, and then you have text and colored boxes on top. Or you can do an inset type of image, as in this example where you've got a lot of boxes all over the screen and a solid background. Now let's look at text, background, colors, and images. There's two rules that you want to follow in putting this together. Do light on dark when it comes to text on something, and do dark on light. These are the two kind of options. You're always going to be playing at grays in between, but try to make your text pop by putting it over something dark, by making it light if you put it over something dark, and making it dark if you put it over something light. You want your text to be readable. That's one of the big goals of making a book cover. Now, what else can we say about text? Use thicker fonts to keep the text readable. Notice in this book cover on the right how I got nice bulky fonts. If you go for those willowy, nice handwritten type of fonts, as the image gets smaller and smaller, those little willowy lines begin to disappear and pixelate. So use big bulky fonts and keep the text readable. And also, use background colored boxes. If this text had been over the image, it would have gotten really complicated because the image has light areas and this is light text. In fact, I wouldn't have known whether to use dark or light text on it. So I used a colored box for the background of the text to make the text pop. That's one of the purposes of colored boxes. So let's look at colored boxes. You use them to create designs. You can make entire book covers of just colored boxes of different colors at different angles, kind of an abstract book cover, or you use them to make text pop. So you make the text stand out by putting a colored box behind the text, as in this example to the right. Now let's take a look at some colored box techniques. The first one you have is to use a solid colored box. That will really make things stand out. It's a little, it lacks a little in sophistication and is a little in your face. But don't worry, there are other options for doing colored boxes in the background. Like one is transparent. Have it blend into the background a little bit so you can actually see the background, but it does darken things up to make the text pop. Another option is to do a gradient, where you do one color to another. And the final option is to do a drop shadow. Now here you can just barely see my drop shadow, but trust me, there is one. And you do this by putting a darker box in the background and making it transparent, by offsetting it just a little bit too. So there's some box creation techniques. Now, my book cover design tools include a tool called the GIMP, the GNU Image Manipulation Program. This is a free program, and I use it for the heavy lifting because it's kind of complex. It's not real easy to do everything. Now, I started a while ago using PowerPoint to create book covers because it was easy, and I'm using PowerPoint all the time. I use PowerPoint to create this slide that you're looking at. Now, the problem is that it costs, so you actually have to license PowerPoint. Now I've come up with a third option that I'm beginning to push called Canva. This is an online book cover creator, so all you need is a browser. It's easy to use, and it's free. Now, free, some of their templates and so on, they start trying to tempt you with the neater templates and the neater images to charge you. But if you discipline yourself, you can actually keep things free on Canva. And one of the ways that I keep things free is by using Pixabay for free images. So, as we go through creating a book cover, which we're about to head into now, I'm going to show you the use of Canva and Pixabay to create a book cover. Now we're going to begin with the simple way, using Canva themes, and in the next section, we're going to use a blank white page and begin from scratch and build everything up so you will understand Canva book cover design in detail. Let's get started. The first thing that I'm going to do is bring up a browser, and I'm going to go over to the Canva website. And you may have to log in, but once you do, you're going to be displayed. It will display the book covers or the images that I've worked on that are uploaded on Canva, and it will give me the option to start a new one. Now, book covers are 1410 by 2250. I usually go 1600 by 2500, but this should be fine. And you just click on Kindle book cover, and up it comes. Now, this book cover should also suffice for print-on-demand paperback by using it with the spruce cover, which allows you to define the front cover and then CreateSpace or KDP, creating a print-on-demand paperback, will actually supply the back cover and the text and all of that stuff and the spine for you. So all you really need is a cover for a print book. There are really only 3 steps that you have to perform to create a book cover using the easy technique or the Canva themes technique. The first thing it's going to do is show you layout when you create a new book cover, and here this shows me the various themes. Now these are all charged, and I can tell because when I scroll over it, little dollar signs come up here, and it doesn't say free. So if we scroll down to somewhere where it says free, like this, then we're in the ballpark. This is actually a really nice, clean, and simple book cover. So let's go ahead and we'll create that. Now, once you pick your theme, the only 2 other things that you have to do to kind of make this book unique. Remember, other people are using these book covers, and they're going to end up with the same images and the same text. And you need to make this your book name. So we're going to change the text, including the title, the author, and whatever praise or acknowledgments and so on we want to put on here, and we're going to change the image. Let's begin with the image. So if I go to Elements, there are free images, and I have the choice of using any of these images to replace this image up here. So let's say we're making more of a computer book. So I'd pick that, and it shows up in the middle, and I grab it, and I drag it where I want it. There, so we've replaced the image. I can go and grab any other free image here or actually pay for an image if I see one that I really like and I just have to have. Or I can go over, create a new tab, and go to a site called Pixabay. Now, Pixabay makes their money by trying to lure you in to getting Shutterstock or some other images that are advertised around the edge. So they give you pretty good images on Pixabay, and then the great ones they charge for. So what I'm going to look for is a computer image. By typing in computer and just hitting return. And up here on the top, these are the Shutterstock pay for images, and then here are all the free images. Can't say I'm greatly thrilled by these computer images. But let's just grab one so that I can show you what I'm talking about. Let's say we like the digital artist here. I click on it, and it says free download. And notice this is free for commercial use, no attribution required. This is about as free as it can get. And I'm going to say download. I am not a robot. And download. And I have been downloading to, let's download here. That's the site in which I'm recording this particular lecture. And whoops, didn't want to do that. And then I come back to Canva and notice this uploads link here. So I can create uploads, and these are all the images that I've uploaded. And I say upload my own image, and here it is. And now, whoop, it's not uploaded yet. Come on, upload. Okay, it's fully uploaded. Now I just grab it and click on it, and it shows up here in the middle, and I just drag it to where I like it. So that's the way to get free images. So you get the free images on Canva, and you've got tons of free images on Pixabay. Now, to change this text, the easy way to do this is to just leave the style alone. So don't change fonts and stuff, though I can do that. Notice if I come down here and select this, I have the font up here, and I can pick and change the font to anything. But that gets into a lot of formatting issues. If you really want to do this easy, just keep the same fonts. Okay, now it turns out we actually need to change this font a little to get it to fit in there, and that's by taking its size down. Let's see if 28 does it. No, that doesn't do it. There we go. 42, I actually got it small enough that it didn't break. And then I click on this so that I can change Edward Singer to Brian Jackson. And the praise for, I can actually just click on it, and I go up to the trash can, and the praise for is gone. So if you don't have any particular praise for your book, you can get rid of it. Now we've just made a very simple book cover very quickly. The last step is to say download, and we have the choice of a PNG or a JPEG or actually a PDF. I'm going to pick a PNG, and I'm going to say download, and it will ask, eventually it's preparing it now. Now it's asking where I'd like to download it, and I'm going to put it along with my course. And look, it's given it the title and PNG. I can live with that. So go ahead and save it, and here's the download. And now I have a PNG that I can upload during publication with a book cover. Now, if you watched my other lecture, you already saw me do something like this. But what you haven't seen is having me go back to Canva and saying, give me a Kindle book cover. Now I've got the dimensions, but look, I'm not selecting a theme. What do you do with the dreaded white page? This is exciting. The next thing we're going to look at is raw Canva. We're going to begin with a white page. So let's get started. I can jump directly to elements on a dreaded white page, and let's begin. Remember, we're going to begin with images. And remember, I have two choices when it comes to images. I can fill the background, or I can have an inset. Let's do the fill the background, and we'll see how far we make it here. So I'm going to go to the Canva free images. Look at that cathedral. Wow, isn't that neat? So we take this, and the first thing we want to do is we want to fit it to the entire book cover. So let's drag it somewhat outside and bring it down until it covers the entire thing, and we'll put it in the middle. And notice how Canva just kind of grabs whatever's on the book cover for you. So there, we've got a full image. Now, what we need to do is add text. So let's go over here and we'll say, give me text. Now, this is, very saintly and so on. Oh, look at that. I like this style of text. And in fact, it gives me a bunch of stuff. So the first thing that we want to do, we're going to put this text up here, and let's center it just to be simple. And I'm going to go work on it by clicking on the inside And notice how it has components, so we're only working on the top part. And I'm going to, increase the size to maybe 28. That's not quite big enough. 42 runs into problems because we're not, yeah, 42 isn't going to make it. 32. This will work just fine for this font, because I'm going to change the whole thing to Brian Jackson. There we go. And then it has some smaller elements in it. Now I've just clicked on that, and boy, you can't really see that. So what you've got here is you've got a zoom. Check this out. I can zoom in, and then I can use the scroll bars to scroll around so I can actually see the text. You know, I'm not really into this. Let's just get rid of that. This award is presented to. Okay, I don't want it to say that either. So I'll select all that by triple clicking on it, and I'll get rid of that. And it just says Brian Jackson. Now I probably want to bring the font up even further, and we want to stretch it from side to side. That's good. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm manipulating it. Let's get outside, and we'll click here in the text, and I will bring this text up. Let's bring it up to some ridiculously large size. There we go. Now I can bring the zoom back down, and we can see what I've done. So that's that text. If I like this, I can pick this thing here, say copy, and I'll get a copy. And then I just, okay, I grab it. Oh, now I'm inside. I guess I grab it and I move it down. And let's say I'm going to use the same thing for the title. Let me get the grabby things. There we go. I got it centered. And then we go in on the text, and I like the size, and we're going to make it call it early memories. Something like that. Now notice how this is really popping because we've got a light background and we've got dark. But I could make it pop a little bit better by putting an element here. I'm going to close down the free photos and go over here to shapes. And what I'd like to insert is a flat, just a free shape. It's a rectangle that has color. And I'm going to put it up here, and then I'm going to move things around. Notice that this changes things and keeps the proportionality, and these don't on the sides. So if I want it to maintain the aspect ratio, I grab the corner, and if I don't, I grab one of these on the side. So I'm going to pull that over like that, and then I'm going to send that to the background by clicking on it and doing arrange back. Now it goes to the background, and you can see that now we've really got our text popping. So let's get this around that. Now I don't really like this solid effect. This is the solid box effect. I don't really like the color. So let's pick on color here, and let's get something, how about black? Now black seems to be strange. And it is. But let me show you what I had in mind. Do it black, and then come up here and pick on transparency, and bring the transparency way down. I've got the text here, so I want to move that out of the way just temporarily. And I need to get the text and bring the transparency back up because I got the text instead of the box. Okay, here's the box. And I'm going to bring its transparency down so you can really see through to the church. So maybe to as much as 50%. Now, I'm going to take my name, and I'm going to change the color of this from black to white. And let's click on this up here so we can get white. Just pull this all the way over to the left. And there, now we've got white text. So if I move the text up here, you can see by darkening the background that we really made that text pop. Now this text is getting down into lighter, so maybe we won't want to do that effect. But that's how to use images, text, and colored boxes and how to manipulate them. And I think that gives you a good idea from how you can go from the bottom, from having a white background to having a pretty nice book cover, just by using the idea of images, text, and colored boxes. So please, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And be sure to subscribe to my channel to see more like it. Ask questions if you got them. This has been Brian Jackson, and I'll see you in the classroom.